What's up, y'all? Let's make some barbecue chicken. So I'm going to start off by adding some Creole seasoning on my chicken, some black pepper, sprinkle a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder, a little bit of kosher salt, a little bit of adobo seasoning, finish it off with some paprika, and then add some olive oil on top to make sure that all my seasoning sticks. So once I've added the olive oil on there, I'm just going to take my hands and just mix it all together to make sure that all of the seasoning that I added stick to my chicken. Now let's take a look at it, guys. See, it's nice and seasoned. So what I'm going to do is cover it up and set it in the refrigerator for about an hour and let it sit. Once I take it back out, I'm going to add some ranch dressing on top of it and just mix that on my chicken also. That is going to give it an extra flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and start placing it on my pan that I'm going to put in the oven. Once I've done placing all of it in there, when I get to that last piece, I'm just going to rub that in there to get that last little bit of seasoning out there. Because I don't want to waste any seasoning, guys. So once I've done that, I'm going to add my veggies, my bell pepper, and my onion, and I'm going to cover it up, and I'm going to place it in the oven at 400 for about 35 to 40 minutes to begin with. Once I've done that, I have my potatoes already boiled. I'm going to just go ahead and peel the skin off of my potatoes. Guys, this is how I normally do it. I know some people peel it first and then boil it, but I like doing it this way because it prevents that darkness from getting on my potatoes, So, hey, to each his own. This is how I do it. So, I'm going to peel all my skin off of my potatoes. Once I've done peeling all my potatoes, then as you can see, I'm going to start dicing it up into my bowl so I can start mixing my salad. And again, this is just the preferred way that I like to do it. Everyone does things differently. That's the good thing about cooking. There is no one way of doing it, and everybody way of doing it works best for them. So anyhow, let's continue. So once I've added all my potatoes and diced it, I'm going to start by adding some Duke's mayonnaise inside. Duke's is my preferred mayonnaise. You can use whatever you like. I have my Duke's mayonnaise. I have my onion powder, my garlic powder. I have some seasoning salt. I'm going to add some paprika in there. I'm also going to add a little bit of accent in there also and some kosher salt. Mix it together and just mix it until all of the seasoning is mixed inside. And I'm going to go back and add a little bit more mayo. It's going to be to your discretion how much of these ingredients you use. You have to taste it as you do it. Then I'm going to add some eggs. I think I bought about 9 eggs that I'm going to add in there. And just mix that in there, dice that and mix that in there also. Once I've added all the eggs and diced it in there, I'm just going to mix that in there also. Just keep mixing it in there until everything is mixed and blended together. Now, you continue to add your mayo until it looks the way you want it to look. Keep that in mind. So I'm going to keep mixing it together until my potato salad looks the way I want it to look. Then I have my sweet salad cube that I'm going to start adding. Now, I like a lot of salad cube in mine. Everyone doesn't like a lot in theirs, but I do. I like a lot of that salad cube in my salad. I like the sweet taste in there. And then you're going to go behind and then add a little bit of mustard in there. The mustard is going to give it that perfect yellow color. So make sure you don't forget your mustard. Add that up in there too. And then I'm going to add a little bit of diced pimentos in there. Make sure I add that in there. That's going to give it some nice color also. Everyone doesn't use it, but I like using it. So once I'm done mixing it all together, I'm going to sprinkle just a tad bit of sugar on top. And that's just me. Everyone doesn't do that either, but that's just how I do mine. Add a little bit of sugar on top and mix together. And honey, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to place that in the refrigerator and get started on my vegetables. So I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil in the pan. I have a little bit of butter that I'm going to add in the pan. Some onion, some bell pepper, green pepper, and some red pepper. And I'm going to just add a little bit of seasoning on top of that and let that saute for a little bit before I add my string beans in. Now, I've already had my string beans boiling, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that once it's boiled and add that in the mixture of my vegetables and just kind of let that saute inside my vegetables and cook together, and add a little bit of nature seasoning on top of that. Mix it together and just keep mixing it until it's cooked. Now I'm going to make my barbecue sauce. I have barbecue sauce that I bought from the store, but I'm just going to hack it a little bit by adding some mustard, a little bit of hot sauce, a little bit of brown sugar, and just mix it together. And this is what it looks like. So I'm going to start adding it to my chicken. Once my chicken is out and brown, I'm going to add my barbecue sauce on top of it. Actually, I'm going to add it on both sides. So you want to make sure you flip it to get both sides. Add that barbecue chicken on both sides. Barbecue sauce on both sides, excuse me. Add it on both sides and make sure that it's nice and pretty. Once you add all your sauce on top, I'm going to place it back in the oven uncovered for another 15 to 20 minutes. While that's cooking, I felt like a little bit of dessert today. So I have a box of chocolate cake mix that I had in the cabinet. I'm going to add that in there, add about 4 eggs inside. I have a little bit of cocoa powder that I have in the cabinet. I'm going to add that in there also, just to hack my cake mix a little bit, and a cup of milk. Add that in there and mix it together. Place it in the pan and place that in the oven. And that's going to be my dessert for today, guys. Look at that chicken, guys. Isn't that nice and pretty? All right. And this is my dinner for today. Thanks, guys.